This guy, he had this best friend, and he never told his best friend about our relationship. And he ended up getting married to his best friend. Yeah, he and the best friend, they got married. And he was just always telling me, oh, let's not tell anybody about the relationship. Let's keep it hush-hush. Hello, everyone. My name is Abimbola. You are welcome to my YouTube channel. In case you're asking yourself what we're going to be doing here, we're going to be talking about everything creativity, relationships, and faith. If you like Jesus, you will like this channel. For us to get people to know that somebody is in town, you need to like, you need to share, you need to subscribe. We're going to be putting out videos every Friday. Thank you guys for being a part of this. Subscribe. Bye. Hi everyone, you are welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today in this video, I will be talking on how I ended up in wrong relationships. The things that caused me to end up in relationships I had no business with. Right, the reason I know I had no business with them is because I'm not in them anymore. Anyways, there were things that I overlooked. There were things that I ignored. And this is me taking accountability, and I think you should too. Because I know one of the things we do in relationships is, when a relationship is over, for example, we're quick to tell our friends, or we're quick to tell ourselves the things the person did wrong, right? We're quick to just jump into how the person treated you bad. Of course, these people might have treated you bad, but there were things you also should have done to avoid some of the things, to avoid you finding yourself in that mess, as you were. So I would share mine, and it would be nice if you can share yours in the comment after watching this video. So the first thing I did was I ignored red flags. Now, some people did not see red flags. Me, I saw them. There was this relationship that I was in, that I went into, one time. This guy would tell me, he told me horrible things about his exes. Now, he did not only tell me horrible things about them, I also saw him do horrible things to people, right? He did not take accountability for his actions. But guess who went into a relationship with him? I went into it. Why did I go into it? I don't know. I mean, he did very nice things. If there was anything like love bombing, when I experienced it, and this is not to say that the love bombing that he did was the reason I went into the relationship. I mean, someone can love bomb me now, by the grace of God. They love and they bomb, you guys will go. Of course, it's because I know better, but I ignored red flags. And the lesson that I learned is, if you ignore red flags, you'll be doing yourself a huge disservice, right? You would waste your own time. You would hurt yourself, right? The person that eventually hurt you, you could have avoided being hurt in some cases if you had run away when you saw the red flags. Well, maybe not all, maybe you don't run away when you see all red flags. At least some you have conversations about. Maybe what I should have done in the past was to actually have conversations about the things I saw him do to other people, but I did not. I literally ignored them. It wasn't even that I was calling them green flags. It wasn't that I was calling them orange flags. It was just that I saw it and I closed my eyes, right? So don't ignore red flags like I did. When you see them, you talk about them. If after talking about them, you see that the person is not even changing, you talk about some of them, right? If someone punches you, that one, the only conversation you're having is, thank you, I appreciate your life over my own life I'm living. You carry your bag and you move, but there's some red flags that you can, have a conversation about, but if anything, do not ignore red flags. So the other thing I did, or how I got into relationships I had no business with, or into the wrong relationships, was talking stage was non-existent for me. I just learned about talking stage. I just knew about talking stage. Maybe there was something called talking stage, or the dating phase, or getting to know someone. Nah, there was nothing like that for me. This is how this is how relationships were for me. I meet a guy, we talk for 1 week, maybe like a week, we talk, and from there he's like, do you want me to, I would like you to be my girlfriend. Because for me, I was always like, he must ask me out. they did, but then that was it. You ask me out, I go and say, God, I just praise one small prayer like that, and I come back and I say yes. I didn't get to know these people. I never got to know them. There was nothing like talking stage. Nah, there was no talking stage. I didn't get to know how. I didn't look out for anything. Right? Again, I didn't have what I wanted in a guy. It was just anything goes. Right? As long as the person is asking me out, or the person looks nice or fits into what I think a boyfriend should look like. I just went into a relationship with them. There's a lady, her name is Michelle McKinney Hammond. This lady, she said something about dating. She said dating is not for mating, it's for collecting data. Right? It's not to come and be laughing. Like me, I'm all for having fun during your dating season or talking stage and all that. I love it. Get to know the person, you guys laugh. That's how you know the person. But then let it not just end there. You really need to talk. It's called talking stage for a reason. And the thing you're talking about also matters. But you need to talk. You need to talk. Spend more time talking than you are spending time finding out if people are compatible where sex is concerned. Sorry, I am that table. We will mend it, but I just thought to just shake it a bit. But yeah, get to know this person that you plan on being exclusive with. This was something I did not do. I never took out time to know people. It was very fast. It was very fast. It was always very fast. Now, I know better. To the glory of God, I know better. I know that, you can take things slowly, not slowly where you're wasting your time. 7 years, someone is telling you, I don't know if I should marry you. I don't know if you're the one for me. Nah, not that type. But ease into things with people, get to know them, know about, the things they like. And I feel like this talking stage is like the honey of every relationship, right? The place where you guys can go on a lot of dates, get to know each other, know about each other's families, know about, their pet peeves, their likes, their dislikes, all of those things. This is the stage you do know all of those things about people. And I think that we need to maximize this stage, right? Yeah. The other thing I did in my relationship, I'm laughing about it because I must have been, I don't know, what was I doing? I was not accountable to anybody. In my past relationship. So, I meet this guy. I told you guys now, I meet a guy and then it was just, it didn't even have to be fine or I didn't have to be attracted. There was something I used to say in the past, which is very funny. I'll probably talk about attraction one of these days. I used to say, no, the guy does not have to be fine, as long as he's caring. So let me tell you, forget that thing, Like me, as long as I'm attracted to you, I don't believe in one particular type of, being fine. No, everyone is attracted to, we're all attracted to different things, but you should be attracted to the person. I wasn't. It was something that I never thought about. Maybe I'll talk about it, as one of these. I didn't even think of it as one of the things I was going to be talking about. Anyways, I was not accountable to anybody. I just went into relationships just like that. Let me tell you, once I go into the relationships, what I used to do was, when things got bad, and I got run, I'll be telling you, please, come and help me, come and bring me out of it. But I never involved people, right? It wasn't even because I was being private, because there's being private. I don't want anybody to, I don't want to involve anybody in my relationship. No, that was not the case. It was just that it was a reckless relationship. I was making reckless relationship decisions. I would not tell anybody. I wasn't accountable to people and I wasn't accountable to God. I made relationship decisions, and then when things went bad, I would pray to God, please, come and remove me out of this relationship, right? So I think being accountable is super important. Be accountable to someone. Let somebody know that you're seeing somebody. I was in this relationship. You know what the guy told me? He was like, let's not tell anybody about our relationship. No, we didn't tell anybody. Anybody. That guy was playing with my head. We didn't tell anybody. I was keeping it hush hush. His reason was, I want to focus on my career. I want dirty reason like that. I believed it because, again, I just used to do anything. I used to do anyhow. But yeah, be accountable to someone. Tell someone about it. the people you're telling about your relationship, especially the people that love you and people that respect you, they don't like the person like you do. So if there's anything they notice about the person, they can always point it out, or they can even encourage you, right? If you're being irrational, where your thoughts towards the person is concerned, they can always bring you back home and tell you, like they can always, they can always wake you up, right, and tell you, oh, this person is a great person. Don't mess with a good thing, right? So be accountable to people. One of the ways to be accountable to God is by praying about it. The moment you meet the person, pray about it. Tell God about it. Tell him that, oh, this is the person I just met, and I'd like to know what you think about it. If you see him as your father, you will do that, right? If you see God as your father, you would involve him in every area of your life. And your relationship is not one I think you want to leave him out of. It's very dangerous, right? Carry people along at every stage. People that, you respect, what they have in their marriages, your fellow single friends that you think they're stewarding the singlehood well. Tell them about it, because there are certain things you guys might have talked about to say, oh, these are the things we want to do in this our singlehood. Or if you're, very enough, they can always call you back and say, something is wrong. They can always call you back to your senses. So be accountable. So the other thing, this one, man, wow. Well, since we're accountable, I didn't have boundaries. Guys, I did not have boundaries. I lacked boundaries. I didn't have self-respect. So anything goes. In one relationship, I've not been in lots, but I've been in quite a number. I don't know if that makes any difference, but if that makes any sense. In one of the relationships that I was in, my very first relationship in uni, well, yeah, I remember one time he told me, I'm seeing a white girl, if you don't mind. I was like, what? It was such a nonsense thing to say, but guess who still went back to him? I did. I didn't have boundaries. I lacked boundaries. I didn't even know what boundaries were. I just, again, anything goes, right? I didn't have self-respect. Honestly, I didn't know any better. Not like I'm bashing myself. I know better now. Thank God, I know better now. I can do better now, and I'm grateful. I'm glad, to the glory of God, that I went through those things, right? Not glad, but like I went through those things so that you can learn from me. I lacked boundaries. Like my doors were opened, right? Because my doors were opened, anybody could come in. Right, the gates were wide open, no security guard, nothing. There was even no gate safe. There was no gate. Anybody could come in. So because I didn't have boundaries, I allowed anybody into my life. When people treated me anyhow, I let it like. And this was not me forgiving them. This was just me not knowing better. There were relationships that I should have left from the jump. But, I continued in it. Just like the relationship I told you about, where the guy was like, oh, we should not tell anybody. This guy, he had this best friend, and he never told his best friend about our relationship. And he ended up getting married to his best friend. Yeah, he and the best friend, they got married. And he was just always telling me, oh, let's not tell anybody about the relationship. Let's keep it hush-hush. Let me tell you, don't keep anything hush-hush. Do not. Now, because I lacked self-respect, I didn't know who I was. I just accepted anything. You need to say, you can't go beyond this place. So, for example, now one of my boundaries is no sex before marriage. Or one of the lines I would not cross is, sex before marriage. As sure as God helps me, I'm not going to cross the line. No sex before marriage, right? Now, once that is in place, and I communicate those boundaries to you, that would help you understand that we're not going to be staying out late at night. We're not going to be alone in a room. We're not going to be turning off the light and say we're watching a movie, and from there, hands are already in places that hands should not be before marriage. So having boundaries, it keeps you in check. It just helps you stay inside your safe zone, right? How do you form your boundaries? Using the word of God, having your morals, having your values, right? Those are the ways you form your boundaries. when you're a person that respects others and respects yourself, you know that you're not going to stick to someone that is rude. If someone, one of your boundaries will be, if you're talking to me anyhow, like we would need to have the conversation. Like, you cannot. It's not nice, because I won't talk to you anyhow. You shouldn't talk to me anyhow as well. So having boundaries are super important. It helps your life, and it helps you not just to accept any nonsense from people, right? Yeah. So have boundaries. Don't be like the former Abimbola. Be like the present Abimbola, who has boundaries and who is sticking to them. Not boundaries that are unrealistic and silly. I cannot date a person that is not, I cannot marry someone that is money is not long, like, not things like that. Realistic boundaries according to the word of God, according to, who you are, right? The very core of your being, you set those boundaries from that place. So I had mentioned earlier that I went for anybody, right? I didn't have a spec. I mean, not like not having a spec. Having a spec is important, Sha. I think it's important. I'm not going to, preach it as a doctrine. I'm not going to say you need to have a spec, but I think you should know what you want. For me, I didn't know what I wanted. So one of the lies I told myself was that I didn't care if the person was some type of way or this type of way. Anything is fine. Today, I can tell you that anything is not fine. Because I didn't know what I wanted, I went for anybody, right? And then somewhere down the line, I'm like, oh my God, I'm not attracted to this person in the relationship, right? Of course, that was not the only reason I left. For some relationships I left because, I had no business, being in those relationships. It was the fact that I was not attracted to them plus other things, right? So it's okay if you know what you want. I do not think there's anything wrong in having the type you're attracted to. Now, it's not going to be like, oh, if the person is not this particular way, I'm not going to get married. No, but I think attraction is important. I think, you should know what you want. Now, knowing what you want is not limited to attractions. You just start to, mention that part. You need to know what you want in a partner so that when you meet what you do not want, you're able to just, just put it to a halt, right? For some of us, like, you're like, oh, I want someone that is Nigerian, right? And this is not to say if God brings someone that is not Nigerian, you're not going to go, I'm not that person, right? I'm open to, whatever race, right? I'm open to whatever race, but like for some people, they're like, oh, I don't want a Nigerian. If your reasons are genuine, God has sent you to Nigeria and you have an assignment, you're supposed to do in Nigeria, and it's only a Nigerian man, you get my point. Like, you're not going to now be wasting your time with other people. This is just an example, though. I'm not saying you have to marry from your country. You get what I mean? I'm just saying this is just an example. Once you already know where you're going to, your direction in life, you can sort of create that list, as it were, based on that thing. But I think it's so important to know what you want. It helps you know what you do not want. It helps you just, just dismiss things from the jump, right? You're a Christian, for example, you want someone in the same faith, right? You want someone, because you should not be unequally yoked. You want someone in the same faith. If someone comes and then they are atheist or they believe in Sugamanla God, for example, you already know that, these things do not align and there's no point wasting your time, right? I know that I have had friends who say, oh, this guy, I asked them, does this guy know God? Does he have a relationship with God? And they're like, he goes to church. That's not the question. You guys do not align. There's no alignment in that regard. So why are you deceiving yourself? Why are you stressing yourself going into something that you have no business with, right? So don't do what I did, right? Know what you want. It's important you know what you want. And one of the ways you know what you want, like I talked about in the singlehood video, if you don't know who you are, you can't even know what you want. So it's important to spend time with yourself. When you spend time with yourself, one of the ways I've come to know what I want is by spending time with myself. Spend time with God. He reveals those things to you. God is not just there saying, let's just talk about purpose. In your purpose, he wants to talk about, the kind of guy you like. He wants to reveal it to you. Honestly, I'm not even kidding. Like, God goes down to the nitty gritty, so that when you see the man, you're like, oh my God, you're the bone of my bone. It doesn't necessarily need to tick all of the physical boxes, but at least you know that, you know what, God gave me what I wanted. God gave me something nice, right? And God gives good gifts, so don't let anybody lie to you. So the last thing that I will talk about where, going into the wrong relationships is concerned is I did not know who I was. My identity was in the wrong places. Like, I placed my identity in what I could do for them. Like, whether it was, trying to do some, sexual stuff just in order to make them feel like, oh my God, this girl is better than bad. You'd be going above and beyond, be doing all manner of things that you have no business with just because you want the guy to just know that, this girl, very, very freaking the shit type of girl. No, I'm not freaking in the shit for anybody's son except my husband, So yeah, like, I did not know who I was, so it caused me to do things that I had no business with. So if there's anything that I would ask of you, know who you are. There's a video on identity, right? Please watch that. Know who you are, know what God says about you, and let that be at the forefront of your mind, so that you're not going to just take anything from anybody. You're not going to just allow anything. You're not going to find yourself being in a place that is less than what God wants for you. God says you're loved, and someone is not treating you with love. You know that this is not commensurate. Like, it's not. We can't put it like it's. There's no balance here. Know who you are in God. Know who you are. Know the things. Know the things that God says about you. Know that you're God's prized possession. If somebody is not treating you realistically like a prized possession, is not treating you with respect, is not treating you with love, is not treating you with dignity, you really have no business there. I really do hope you've learned from me. And the truth is, I do not believe the experience is the best teacher at all. I believe that we can learn from other people. So I hope that you can learn from this and utilize it, right? And not make the mistakes I made. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please remember to like, share, subscribe. Honestly, share this with someone so that they do not make the mistakes that I made. I'm grateful. I'm honestly grateful that I know better now and I can do better. Thank you guys so much, and see you in the next video. Bye.